Stephen here, Beerbeard, coming to you from the grounds of the Beerbeard estate. Third time I've started this video. Previous two times, my off-camera assistant has knocked the tripod. He's had a bit of a severe telling off, so I'm hoping that this one will go relatively incident-free. Smoking my Dansk Club. Stanwell second. Almost straight, but just slightly bent. A bit like me. So I don't count it as 100% straight. And in it, I've got Revor plug. I'm drinking a chilled lager. Cheers. Your good health. The title I'm going to be giving this video is How Did We Survive? And what that specifically relates to is the dumb, stupid, harebrained things and schemes we cook up and do when we're kids that somehow we manage to walk away from relatively unscathed. I think this mainly applies to boys because girls are smarter. But boys, I mean, I know, I was one. They're stupid. And when you're a child, especially a boy child, you think you're invincible. You think you're going to live forever. Adults, what do they know? With all this, you're going to break your neck, you idiot. What do they know? So I thought I'd share my memories of one such incident in my own childhood. And I'm sure all you've got a tale to tell as well, so it'd be interesting if we get a few more videos up. How did the YTPC survive childhood? My own takes me right back to the early 60s. I was about 7 years old. Now my family, when I was born, had moved out of London and they'd moved up to a commuter town on the outskirts called Potter's Bar. And we moved into a new build house right on the edge of the town there. And given the circumstances, it was full of young families basically. So the street was full of kids, all within a 2 or 3 year age span. Which was just as well, because in those days we used to play outside all the time. Obviously no daytime television, no internet, no electronic games, so we played outside all the time. As you all know, I mean, it's been the same. Your parents didn't see you from dawn till dusk some of the days. And my particular tale concerns one summer holiday. School summer holiday. You know, those school summer holidays that when you were a kid, it was like they went on forever, like they were never going to end. And it was one such when I was about 7 years old. And me and my two mates, there was my best mate who lived next door but one, and then another boy who lived next door to me, so 3 houses in a row. And we've been playing together, and sometimes there's only so many games of war or cowboys and Indians that you can play, and it gets a bit boring. And as I say, the holiday did seem to go on for an awful long time. And so on one such boring day, one of us, I don't know who it was, I'm not taking any credit or any responsibility for it, cooked up the idea, excuse me a second, of, well, let me explain. The street we lived in, and we lived down at the bottom end, it was level, but then the street climbed up a slope to the top. And one of us came up with the grand scheme of trying out a bit of land speed trialling, utilising the hill at the top. The idea being that we would select a vehicle and see how fast we could come down the hill on it. Now the chosen vehicle for this experiment was my tricycle. Now bearing in mind this was the early 60s, about 1962. It wasn't like a tricycle now made of moulded plastic and alloy. It was steel. It was a steel frame, it had 3 big spoked wheels on it. At the back it had a boot, or a trunk as you'd call it in the States, and it was solid, big metal thing. But the advantage of it being a tricycle was that not only could one of us pilot it in this speed trial, but he could carry a co-pilot on the back. And that's what we decided to use. As it was my trike, I was the pilot in the seat with the handlebars. The kid next door, who was either the braver or the more stupid of the other two, was going to be the co-pilot, and he was going to stand on the boot behind me and rest his hands on my shoulders. Now, we weren't entirely stupid. We realised that you had to take certain safety precautions. And it just so happened this trike also had a telescopic handle at the back that would come out. The idea being that parents would hold on to that and stop their offspring pedalling off into the traffic. So the third boy was going to act as a brakeman, and he was going to hold the telescopic handle and follow us down the hill so that he could apply extra stopping power if need be. So we took it up to the top of the hill and prepared for launch. Now, having said we weren't entirely stupid, we weren't entirely clued up on physics either. So it hadn't really occurred to us that the momentum gained by an all-steel trike bearing 2 7-year-old boys going downhill might outweigh the potential stopping power of a third 7-year-old boy holding onto the handle behind. Anyway, we kicked off, rapidly gained momentum, and were pretty soon terrified because we were going much too fast, and so we yelled to the bloke behind to drop the anchor, which he tried to do. And of course the handle was immediately ripped out of his grasp, and he was left standing in our dust watching this tricycle disappear down the hill at ever gathering speed, bearing 2 screaming boys. It was an experience, and as we gathered even more momentum hurtling down this hill, we were approaching the bottom of the road, and there was a road that crossed the end. So we had to do something, and so I played my final card, which was I applied the brake. Now you'll have noticed I said brake singular. This was a tricycle meant for toddlers. It wasn't designed for high-speed manoeuvres. It had one simple mechanical brake on the front wheel. And everyone's ridden a bike, and everyone that's ridden a bike knows that if you gather a bit of speed and apply the front brake only, you know what happens. So I hit the brake, and that's when things got a little crazy. That trike jackknifed. Now fortunately it could have gone two ways, one to the road on my right, one to the houses on the left. And it went to the houses on the left, and we hit at speed a low garden wall and came to a dead halt. I climbed from the wreckage, having suffered sort of superficial scratches and bruises. My co-pilot had gone over the top and landed, quite ironically, unintentionally but quite ironically, in his own front garden. Excuse me. Over 50 years later, I can still remember standing in our living room, looking out through the net curtains at the window at the ambulance that came and took him away. Fortunately, he sustained nothing worse than a broken arm. Also, probably fortunately for him, his injury helped him escape the worst wrath of his parents. I wasn't so lucky. I think I was also blamed for being the mastermind behind this idiotic idea. But that's the kind of thing you do when you're kids, isn't it? I got cuts and bruises, he got a broken arm, I got probably a wallop backside. But that was the worst of it. Went on to do many other stupid things, even equally so the older I got, as did the others. But suffice to say, from that day to this, I have never ridden a tricycle again. Dangerous things. So come on, I wonder if anyone else has got a tale about tales of daring do and utter boneheaded stupidity from when you were a kid, and you're still here to tell the tale. I do hope there hasn't been too much glare. I also realise I've got the camera shadow on now. Production values are slipping. I'm getting lazy. Cheers all. Happy Saturday evening wherever you are. Hope the sun's shining on you and you're having a good time, and that you're smoking a pipe or two. I haven't had any Revor for quite a while, so this is a bit of a treat. And I'll be speaking to you again soon. He's looking really, because I told him off. So I'll have to go and play with him now. Let him knock the tripod around a bit, just to make him feel better.